Hello shape enthusiasts and welcome back to another episode of Shapes to Insane Factory. We are currently making Milestone 3. We just finished our factory for Milestone 3 out here in the woodworks last episode and we're getting that delivered. So it's time to focus back in on some tasks. Our first task being Star Site Ziggurat. Let's pin that. Head over to staging 1. Now that everything is working on 3 layers, we need to upgrade our staging 1. So let's start doing that. Let's get our miners upgraded over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all Mark III miners, so they'll output onto a Mark III belt. Like that. Bring that out a little bit. Kind of want to move this all back a bit. So there's our circles. Next, our squares need similar treatment. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that this is in, we can do our other 2 shapes, which is a little bit further out, but shouldn't be an issue. Similar treatment, all our Mark III miners. Someone in a comment section also mentioned to me that these loaders, you don't actually need to split the belts this way. You can actually just merge them onto one belt, put it into one loader, because these loaders don't have a limit on how fast they can load shapes into packages. And if you have enough trains delivering it, you can actually compress this system a lot neater. But we're not going to worry about that for now. We're just going to upgrade everything. So that should be our 4 shapes all upgraded. Now our shapes should have 3, basically a full space belt worth of shapes. We've got to do the same treatment for colors. So let's see what we can fit in. Hopefully we can fit in as many fluid miners as possible. 1, 2, 3, and just fits 4. Over on this side, I don't think we can fit 4 greens. But we'll do our best. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I could probably figure out how to fit 4 greens, but it's fine. We would have to split this like 1, 2, and 3. Technically, you can fit 4 greens like this. That should be 4 greens. We're basically just split up this block of 3 miners into there. Our blues are so far away. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. With that, our staging 1 is now fully upgraded to support Mark III. The first thing that we need to build is this. Now, there's a couple ways. Obviously, I can just use my checkerboarder to make this. But looking at the second part of my shape, I need another blue thing, so I might just make them without the checkerboarder. So we'll take our belt of this. We will paint one of them blue. Bring our blue paint. Now to not interrupt things, I'm going to bring my paint from the lower levels so we can do all our shape processing from above and then all our painting will be below. That way we're not going to get all this crisscrossies happening. Well, that's the hope anyway. We'll take this full to 2 diagonals. For now, we're just going to bin one side of it. And then we need to take another full to 2 diagonals here. Belt that in. Bin the other side of this. Chuck in a stacker. And that should get our crisscross shape. No, it won't. Because we need to rotate one of them. Which one should we rotate? They all come in like this. We should rotate the blue one. Any 90-degree rotation will do. And it's never going to give me a shape preview, so I'm not even going to bother. We're just going to believe in ourselves and deliver that shape. That should get our crisscrossy happening. While we're waiting to verify that, we should work on this shape as well. This one we can use a checkerboarder for because I don't think the red and the green bit seems to be used anywhere else again, for the stars at least. So I'm going to go to staging 2 and we're going to process a similar upgrade in that we need to get rid of some of this. Put our Mark III miners in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to face them this way. And then we're going to belt them around the back. There we go. That's one shape down. This one should be pretty easy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Connect that all up. Second shape down. Third shape is right over here. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring that in. Our final shape is delivered by train all the way back here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get them belted in, clean that up a little bit. So that should all be happy. What about the colors? Now, colors are coming from really awkward positions. Kind of want to move this out of the way. Give ourselves plenty of room to work. If we just put that over this side. Oh, I want to kind of put this sort of out of the way, right? Get the red going again. Can only fit 3 reds, unfortunately. But I want to loop the red back over this side as well. Oh, the red is a little bit annoying and disgusting. Ah, it's fine. We'll just loop it around here. We'll cut ourselves off a little bit. And then we'll do all our shape processing in the middle, and then we'll just deliver somewhere out here somewhere. Not the best staging area, but it'll have to do for now. So we'll do our shape processing in here, and then we'll do our delivery somewhere else. I've done this horrible mistake of using the wrong belt. I don't like this, you know? I'm just gonna... Look, it'll just be separate, whatever. There's our red. Why cross it over and back like a crazy person? Anyway, what we're trying to do is make stars. So we need to paint 2 stars and full to 2 diagonal it. Or checkerboard it. We can full to 2 diagonal and then restack, or checkerboard. What's easier? Doesn't really matter. Full to 2 diagonal uses less shape, so I'm going to go with that. So we'll go full to 2 diagonal. Gonna need our painters. Someone suggested I should redo my painters so the input comes from the top. It's a fantastic idea. Should really just do that at some point. It's not even going to be a hard change. That way I don't have awkward situations like this. But alas, I'm not doing that right now. Bring our paint in. Bring our green paint in. I want to bring all my paint from below. Like that. So that should get my red and my green bits. One of them needs to rotate 90 degrees. And they simply need to stack on top of one another. Just like that. Now we can deliver that to the train station. And the train station's all the way out here, which is fine because I want it to create some room. Does it need to be all the way out here though? Let's just line it up with the red bit. Might as well just redo this track, so it doesn't have to go as far. You know when you're like coding and you get lazy with your code and then you just regret it later? Yeah, don't do that. Just do things cleanly from the start. Everything will be much better. Back to staging 1. Now let's see if we have gotten our shape. Yeah, that should be the shape. Just gonna take a while to deliver. That is perfectly fine. We can start prepping for the next iteration of that task. So we've already got our blue bit, which is over here. We just need a full circle at some point. So we'll start bringing our full circle over here somewhere. Shove that into a stacker. Except this should be on top. I believe this shape should have enough in the chamber to deliver. Definitely after this train loads its stuff. So off it goes. And we should be able to start working on this shape now. So we want to stack this on top. Like that. Bring that shape out. And then we want to stack this onto this shape. Like that. Cut that belt, bring that in. That should get us our next iteration of the shape. Nice and easy. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support Data Engineer Plays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comment section. Check in on our staging 2. Got a bunch of shapes here and no trains. It's going to respawn a couple just to get the trains a little bit offset from one another. We can see we've got a cartload of shapes coming. Oh, I might have reset the trains that were already delivering that shape. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. Just confirming staging 1 shape is correct. That looks like the correct shape. I wish the green ticks would appear again, but apparently it doesn't do that. Waiting for some updates to fix that bug. But we've got our first one coming here, and there's the circle on top, and that should be the correct shape. That looks correct to me. Alright, let's work on our milestones while we're waiting. We've got color mixing. We know how that works, but for those of you that don't, basically you take 2 primary colors and it'll mix into a secondary color like yellow if you mix green and red. And there's magenta and there's also cyan, and if you mix them all together they become white. If you prefer alternative color scheme, you can change the color mode. No, I don't prefer alternative color scheme, thank you very much. The first part of this shape is pretty straightforward, except there's a white bit. Let's figure out where we want to do this. We basically need all the RGBs to make the 2 secondary colors and to make white. In terms of the shape that we need, we would need a full emerald, a full circle. Wait, what's going on over here? Is there like operator level shape, operator level shape? This is something new. Do we have to deliver 2 operator level shapes? What? That's gonna use up so much vortex room now. That's fine. Well, if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. So milestone 4 is basically 2 different shapes completely. Except we can sort of use the color a little bit from each shape. Kind of. Should we do them together or just completely as 2 separate shapes? I feel like what it's trying to tell me, I feel like these are just 2 completely different shapes. Alright, let's make this shape first, and then we'll just go from there. I want to do this as 2 completely separate shapes. I'm gonna go find somewhere to do this. I wonder if we can just get this shape. But it doesn't matter if we get this shape, right? Because we're gonna have to split this into all different colors regardless. So we just need windmills and circles. Alright, let me find a place to do this and then I'll come back and talk about it. I kind of like this area for it. It's a little bit out of the way from where we're doing everything else, which is what we want. And there's emerald circles and squares here. So we can start working on this. When the circles, I want to use the uncolored ones from back there potentially. And then just bring them all over here. So let's start bringing the shapes over. Ultimately, I need 2 circles. So let's start with the circles. I'm working from the final shape, by the way. We need 1 square. And we need 2 windmills. I'm going to clear my filter so we can see again. And then all our RGB is kind of like here. So we're going to start bringing them over. I'm just wondering if I should set up a train system to bring these 2 things over. Sometimes I'm just lazy to set up train systems, but ideally we should really set up the train system. Either that or we bring the windmill over here, because all our RGBs here, never mind, it's fine, platform units aren't a thing yet. I will regret this later, I already know it. So there's all the shapes that we need to make the final bit of the shape. To start with, we just need red and blue. So let's get some fluid extraction going as well. Bring the fluids over somewhere here. And now we have a sort of mini staging area to make this shape. Now I'm not going to bother cutting it yet because the first part of this shape is pretty easy. We just need to crisscross some circles and emeralds. Our circle belt is this, and our emerald belt is this. If we take that into a checker border, we should get 2 belts out of the shape that we need. One of them needs to be red and one of them needs to be blue. So we get our painter and flip them. We need only get our red and our blue and paint them. And by design, we'll make this go down under the floor. And we'll make this go down under the floor. Now the blue is on the bottom and the blue is this one. So if we take our stacker like this, we should get a shape that we want. And I'm just going to go anywhere and steal a train. So we want to steal the train system like this and find where we're doing milestone 4. Paste our train system in. I'm just going to put it... we'll just put it here for now. I don't want to put it completely out of the way. That way we don't have to edit the train system later. Now, which belt should I get it going on? Look how far we are from home. Probably this one. It's going to draw a really long line westward. And it jumps over this, which is fine. Yep, that's fine. That's all fine. There's the train. Let's bring it in. Now we need to color these trains appropriately, which is blue. That's fine. But once it gets home, it needs to unload onto a separate thing like this. So we'll have to copy this and place it. I think this is how I've done it for the other one. 1 offset. And then that can go under and around this side. So that'll plug in. And then we need to get our blue to go into this station, so the red doesn't get confused. Now I want to take a copy of the shape that I'm doing and set a marker somewhere here. This is milestone 4A. Cool. It's going to take a while before the shapes and stuff arrive to confirm whether we're doing that correctly, but in the meantime, we can work on some tasks. Let's take that and start working on this. We'll take that and start working on this. Head over to staging 1, where we are working on this shape. What has changed? Instead of a circle, it's now a crisscrossy this shape and another crisscrossy this shape. So we should make 2 crisscrossy square circles. Squares are here, circles are here. Perfect thing for a checker border. So bring that in, bring that in. That'll get us our 2 shapes that we need. One of them is uncolored and one of them is red. So we simply need a painter. Bring the red. That should get us our shapes. We just need to now stack them on top of each other. And the red goes on top. So that should be our top 2 layers, onto which we just need to stack onto this layer. But how do I know which way it's crisscrossy? It's crisscrossing the wrong way. So we need to give it a 90-degree rotation. And in theory, if we just stack that on top, that should get us the shape that we want. We'll confirm that in a little bit. Let's claim some more operator levels and research points. Head over to staging 2 and start working on the next iteration of this shape. So we've got the little base level. Is the base changed? The base has changed. The green part now crosses with something else. Great. Let's take an emerald and split it up into diagonals first. One of those diagonals needs to become blue. So chuck a painter here. We'll get the blue in. I know this part probably doesn't need to go underground, but we'll follow our pattern either way. The blue one needs to stack with the uncolored one. This stacking needs to change its order. So the red is just by itself now, isn't it? Yeah. And the green now needs to stack with the blue. So So put a stacker over here. That should get our second layer. We need the other bit of this over, like that. And we need to stack this together. Let's stack the red on first. Like that. And then let's stack this thing on. I think this thing needs a 90-degree rotation, or this thing needs a 90-degree rotation. And then this goes on top, this goes on the bottom, and this goes out. That should be the modifications we require for this shape. Let's check back in on staging 1. Does this look like the shape that we want? It looks very close to the shape that we want, I think. Everything seems to be working on 3 levels as well. Yep. Lovely. Let's check back on milestone 4A. Has circles arrived? Yes. Has paint arrived? Yes. Why is nothing being painted? Because circles have just started arriving, I think. So while we're working on milestone 4A, we can probably start looking at milestone 4B as well. Milestone 4B needs 3 emeralds. Now we can just do it over here as well. Like this. It needs 1 circle and 1 square. So I'm going to add a square. And I'm going to add a circle. Now to make white, we need to actually make white. So we've got R, G, and B here. We need green. Why did I put my train rail right here? That seems silly. Let's go around the green. So I'm going to take 2 belts of green with room for a 3rd. And we're going to wire that down this way as well. We're going to get a 2nd belt of blue. And we'll get a 2nd belt of red too. Okay, so we've got all our colors here. We've got our shapes here. Let's make our shape. So we've got a full to 3/4 over here. We can pump one of them in here like that. That'll get our 3/4 of an emerald, to which we need 1/4 of a square. So we're going to steal the square. How can I steal the square from here? Wow, I've done this in a horrible, horrible way. I'm going to bring it down and around like this. And back up. That way I have a square belt on the other side as well. So we'll bring a square belt over here. And we will take 1/4 of the square belt. Now I've got my shape. The quarter is going to be in the bottom right. The hole is going to be in the top right. So I want the hole in the bottom right. That way the shape is in the right orientation. So we'll give that a 180-degree rotate. Now we can stack these two. Like this. Just bring that out one more. And that should get our shape. To this shape we need... Oh, that's not right. Might as well get this in the right orientation to not confuse ourselves later. The square needs to be at the bottom left. So it's a clockwise 90-degree rotation. Now that should get our correct shape. That shape needs to be white. So let's go back into our color mixing area and let's make white. So we've got a mixer 3x over here, or Mark 3 over here. No, that's a minor Mark 3. What am I doing? Where's my color mixer? I've got a color mixer Mark 3 over here in there. I mustn't have done a blueprint redesign for this. Let me just verify this even works. And do my color mixing over here somewhere. Like that. Does that make a color? Is this Mark 3? It looks Mark 3. This feels like the wrong color mixer because it should output 2. Didn't I make a better color mixer somewhere? I had to do a little bit of a double take because I checked my blueprints folder and there is definitely a proper color mixing blueprint in there, but it's not here. It's gone. So there's one in this folder in my Windows sort of browser, and there's one in, I copied it into the main folder as well, and I can't see the color mixer blueprint here either. So essentially, I mean, what that just means is we've got to design a new one from scratch, which is fine. So what is wrong with this color mixer, you might be asking? Well, the way a color mixer works is it takes one liquid in, another liquid in, and then it outputs twice as much liquid. This color mixer, while it does mix the colors, is only outputting half the amount, or it's only mixing half the amount. So in fact, I could actually put a second color mixer and split this belt again in there to get the full amount, but we'd like all of that in one blueprint, so I'm gonna design it again. We've done this in our blueprint design series. If you haven't checked out that series on my channel. But essentially what that means is we're just going to put down a new 2x2 platform. So if you look at the numbers here, the paint pipes are a little bit deceptive because they carry 7200, but the actual launcher only carries 1200. It means 4 launchers can merge into one pipe, but these things can only handle 300 each. So this one pipe coming out of here does need 4 color mixers to consume the 1200, as is the other one to make 1200. But when it comes out, each 2 will make a full launcher's worth of fluid. I'm going to call these by the launcher because the pipes carry 4 times the launcher's volume. So we're going to build to that. So down over here, we would need 4 color mixers. And each color mixer is going to take colors from 2 sides. So we're going to need some launchers. Like this, and then we're gonna need some pipes. One set like this. I know all my shapes are getting done, but that's okay. One set like this. So this is a set. Now, the other thing I want to consider doing is putting my outputs out this way instead of here, but we'll see how that goes. Because it would be nice if our colors came in like that, and then our output color came out like that. That would be cool, wouldn't it? I think would be better. I don't know. We'll see. But if that was the case, then we'd probably want our 4 looking like this. So the output would be super easy to do, but can the input be done like this? I'm going to try to fit my pipes in. But basically, these 4 can be all carried by one pipe. So maybe? So we need 4 launchers. And then we can link the 4 launchers into one because a pipe can carry 4 launchers worth of fluid. And then this can all theoretically be linked together. And then we can just bring this in like that. In theory, should work. And by that same vein, we should be able to do something like this and get 4 launchers out here. Link the pipes up and bring it into here. In theory, this should work. I want to maybe move this so it's centered and do something like that. I think this should work. I'm not 100% sure. Can I get rid of this? And then when we output, we can take half of this, link it all together, and then just pump it out here. And split it into 4 like this. And we can do something similar on the other side. Like that. And like that. That should mix in 2 colors and get 2 colors out. If we copy this onto 3 floors, we can test that theory. So if we get rid of our old color mixer, and we chuck our new color mixer over here. And we put 2 belts in, our blue and our green. That should mix into cyan. And it should output as 2 belts of cyan. And obviously that doesn't work. Why? What have I done stupid? I've put in a belt launcher, haven't I? Why can't you go into the launcher? What? Have I done something very silly? We've got green. Why can't the green go into my mixer? Now I've got green and blue in my mixer, apparently. Something weird is going on. Hold on. Let me troubleshoot this. Oh wait, it is working. It was working. I think it was just taking its sweet time. Either that or this whole piping system is not correct. Because each one of these takes 300, right? And a pipe can carry 7,200. So it should be able to take the 7,200 and distribute it across 4 sets of 4. So 4 by 300 is 1,200 times 12. That's 24, 4,800. That's right? Am I going crazy? 1,200 per one. Yeah, it should be okay. I think it just takes time for the mixing to happen. I want to say. Well, we can very easily test it by getting some shapes in here. I'm just going to steal some shapes from here. We need 2 belts of shapes. Well, we have 2 belts of shapes here. I'm just going to steal this for now. Bring it over and we'll do some testing. So if I'm correct in this color mixing blueprint, we should in theory be able to put 2 painters down like this. Belt our shape in here. So we've got 2 belts of shapes. And if our theory is correct, we should be able to paint both of these shapes and then bin them. Very important we test this blueprint to make sure it actually works. I mean, it looks reasonable, doesn't it? Visually, it looks like it's not doing anything. Why? What is wrong with this? The blue is fine. The green is not happy. I can see the green here, but then the launching part is not happy. Now it's in there. I don't feel like this is continuous for some reason. Is this a glitch or am I just going crazy? Now it's producing continuous amounts of stuff. And then it stops because the green is no longer pumping continuously. Something feels wrong about this. And I'm sure I've made some stupid mistake somewhere. Let me think about it for a second. I'm going to test by just cutting this. And then just linking this set of 4. Is that now continuous? This pipe is just... Oh, what am I doing? It's these stupid things. They're backwards. Silly. One silly mistake. So funny. There we go. Now it's all input. So the bottom layer is all good now. That's all happy. There you go. Second floor, something's wrong with the pipes. Third floor, something's wrong with the pipes. There we go. Is that thing doing the same thing over here? No, this side I've done correctly. That's why the blue flows correctly. The green now flows correctly. God, I'm not going crazy. And now we should get continuous cyan production. And once that all saturates, we should get continuous painting. Let's validate that theory before we continue. In the meantime, I can take these shapes in a bit. I'll do that later. We will take some operator points in the meantime. We have 45 points. We can upgrade some of this stuff. Will we need any of these things? Fluid tank seems useless. Better foundations. I mean, the 2x2 sounds pretty useful soon, because I know one of my blueprints is a full to 4/4 blueprint, which could probably use that. We can make our trains faster, which I think our trains are okay at the moment. I think we just save for these things. I don't want to upgrade them right now because I'm trying to test things and I need to see visually if all the belts are saturated. So once this is working, I will upgrade my belt speed. But this looks like continuous paint coming out now. I know it doesn't visually look like it on the belt, but these fluid belts can carry 4 times the amount of paint. So we just have to look over here to see if we are getting 4 continuous belts on all 4 of these bits. That looks pretty continuous to me, and that looks pretty continuous to me. I'm going to say this is now working, so I'm going to save this blueprint as our color mixer, Mark 3. For some weird reason, our thing didn't save. I don't know why it doesn't like my original color mixer, but we've got an even better color mixer now. Oops, I've saved it in the wrong folder. We'll put it into the blueprint design series, and we can put our color mixer over here. Fantastic, because we're going to be using that color mixer a lot, and we can see indeed it is outputting 2 belts of color. Fantastic. Now let's put it to work. Alright, so what do we actually need to mix? We've got cyan now. What we actually need to mix is white. So we need to mix the cyan with red, which is over here. I'm going to peel off a belt this way for color mixing purposes. And then we're just going to go like this. And that will get our red. And that'll get 2 belts of white out. And this cyan can just chill and do nothing. Well, we can use 1 belt of the cyan for this shape later. But for now, we just need a white. We might need a second belt of white, which this should give us 2 belts of white. Because 1 belt of cyan and 1 belt of red will give 2 belts of mixed color. Now I can bring my white. We'll bring it along here as well. And we'll just bring it underneath somewhere here. Down, across, and down here for white. So we need a paint here. This is giving us our correct shape. We need to paint this shape, so I'm going to chuck a painter down. And then we'll grab our white from here and bring it up there. That should get us our white shape, which is this one. We need to bring that white shape over to the train station. And I might just have this share the same train station. So what we'll do is we will take this, copy this, put our rail there. Wait, no. Put our rail there. Belt that in to load. Now we need to double these trains, and we know that the back loader is going to be this shape. So if we go back to home, we can continuously load this. It doesn't matter that we are changing this up now, but essentially we need a back station too. So I'm going to do this a little out that way because we have space. So we need to cut these stops out, add another unloader, and then unload that somewhere. Now we're running out of vortex room because this is all the vortex space we have. We literally need a new vortex space, unfortunately. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab these. Now we have 60 research points. I'm going to unlock the vortex space first. So more vortex inputs. Now I've got 52 points left. Let's see if we can't upgrade 2 of these. Cutting speed, and then we'll do stacking speed next. And we'll do painting speed. So we need another 32 points. So with more vortex space, I'm going to redo my vortex now. So we have 4 on each one, and we have 2 in each. So we'll do something like this. Every time we have to sort of redo our vortex. Like that. Like that. Oops. And like that. That will get 2 inputs in. Now we should be able to rotate all of these and do the same thing on all 4 sections. Now we have plenty of inputs, and we've made a strange looking sign. I made very sure not to make this look like what you guys are thinking of, but I think I failed a little bit because it kind of looks like a very awkward symbol, but ignore that. There we go. Now we've got our vortex delivery. We can now input the shapes that we want. So maybe temporarily we'll take this shape around the side. We'll take one shape out of there, and the other shape can come out of here and crawl in here somehow. Like that. That's terrible, but should theoretically work. I think. We'll have to test it out and make sure everything is still functional. Why is this only delivering 2 at a time? Something's wrong with my blueprint on staging 2, but we'll fix that in a second. Let's go back to staging 4 to make sure we are getting the white painted shape, which we are. Let's make sure that's delivering, which I think it is. Where's our trains? They're a little bit far, right? I'm gonna reset one train, and that should grab a set. Ah, that's wrong. Should do that. I'm gonna reset this train again. Just make sure it's working properly. I don't really care about delivery speed. Hey. Oh, there was nothing to grab. But if there was something to grab, it would have grabbed it. And we have to make sure that the stops work like that at home too. I'm gonna keep an eye on this while we work on other stuff. So back at staging 1. I'm not gonna worry about this shape yet. Let's finish delivery of this shape. We'll work on the next parts of the shape together. So over here, we were making, I think, this shape. And now we have to make something slightly different. Is it just a green circle on top of what I'm making right now, which will be super easy? I think it is. So let's just grab a painter. I'm gonna put it here. We'll grab a belt. We'll grab our paint. I'll even put that under as well. Then we just need this. That. Loop that back around. And that should get us the correct shape. We'll flush out what the stuff in here for now. And we'll observe if that's the correct shape while we work on staging 2. Now I'm going to figure out why staging 2 is not delivering on 3 levels. As we can see, the 3rd level is not being utilized, which means something is wrong. This has 3 levels. This has 2 levels. This top level is not being utilized. Here is not being utilized. Here is not being utilized. One of my paint belts is not at 3 levels. My green paint belt. Oh, what am I doing? We never upgraded this to Mark 3. Silly mistakes. But you guys watch my channel, you know we are plagued by a lot of silly mistakes. We can probably make this better by just shifting that one back so we get 4 full green belts. Let's make sure this is on the 3 levels. That's on the top, mid, and bottom. Fantastic. Let's get that belt back in before my thing starts complaining at me. So that should get everything working on 3 levels now. What are we actually trying to make? We're trying to make this shape. So we're making this at the moment, which looks a lot like all my bottom stuff. And then what? It's just this crisscross blue shape on top. So it's half emerald, half circle, crisscrossed. Do we have a spare half emerald? No. So our emerald is here. Our circle is all the way on the other side. So we'll do a crisscrossy somewhere. Let's get our checkerboarder out. And we'll just do it back here somewhere. Steal a circle. Oh, steal an emerald. Bring it into the checkerboarder. Up and in. Steal a circle. Something like that. Does that give me a good shape preview? Obviously not. Yep, that is the correct shape. We just need to paint it blue. We don't need 2 sides of it, so we'll just bin one side. And then we'll steal a blue from somewhere. Closest one is over here. Put the other side through a painter. Can I move this belt a little bit? Like that. That way I can steal a painter, put it right here. On the right level though. Then I can steal a blue. Bring it over and up into the painter. That should get our shape out. Whether it's coming out the correct orientation is another question. That is the correct orientation, so we need to rotate this 90 degrees, but I don't have space to do that here. So I'm going to bring this under, back up, and bring it down. And then we'll do a rotaties here. And then we'll stack it on top of this. Like that. And out you go. Give that a flush. Give that a flush. And that should eventually get us our right shape. Let's go back to staging 1 to ensure that the shape... Oh, I don't need to look. It's already delivering the right shape. That's delivering the right shape. Fantastic. Let's start working on this shape. Now, the way we're currently doing this is using crisscrossies, but because we need to piece this shape together, we need to probably do this differently. I have a sneaking suspicion that we can use some bits and pieces we cut out of there for this shape. Not really, because it's a different thing. But we can probably use bits and pieces of it. So let's just get rid of this for now. I'm going to get rid of the blue and the red because there is no more primary colors over here, so that we can get the belts out of the way a little bit. Then we'll just redirect this white this way. Now, we need to make these shapes first, and they all need to be made separately. So we need 2 diagonal emeralds and 2 diagonal circles. So we've got our emeralds here and our circles here. We can go full to 2 diagonals like this, and we can go full to 2 diagonals like this. One of the diagonals needs to be cyan, and one of the diagonals needs to be magenta, which we're not mixing yet. So let's start mixing cyan and magenta. Remember, we've got 2 of each belts. We're currently using 1 of each. So to make magenta, we simply need to mix a blue and a red. So like this and like this. That makes magenta. And we can bring 2 belts of magenta out by our white. Like this. And then we'll go down and we'll follow the white across. And that will be our magenta. We also need our actual cyan now. So we can bring 1 belt of cyan out this way, but we need 2 belts of cyan. Does that mean we just need more colors? Let's just get a 1/3 of these. Now I'm just going to put it here in case I need even more colors. And let's get a 1/3 of this so we can make another cyan. If I put it here, I should be able to make a 4th blue one at some point. So now we can make another cyan. Like that, and like that. Now we can bring the cyan out the same way we bring these other colors. And we'll bring it down. So now we have magenta and cyan. So the cyan needs to color 1 circle and 1 emerald diagonal. So I'm going to put my painters in. Maybe we should do this a bit further back. Like this. Let's get our painters in. So I'm going to put 1 painter here and 1 painter here. Like such. Here comes my magenta, which is over here. We can bring the magenta up like that. Let me just cut the cyan. And the cyan needs to go to the other side and paint this one. Doesn't like that. So that should get me my 2 shapes. I would like to rotate my cyan one. Then I would like to stack these 2 on top of each other. And that should get me my bottom layer. Now, while I'm doing that, I want to check how my train delivery is going. And are we indeed delivering this at maximum capacity? It sure looks like it. And that's still being delivered fine. There and there. So we can see they're coming in side by side. Not a problem. Alright, so we've got our bottom layer of this. We need a top layer, which is the circles, which is here. And they need to be painted white. I feel like I want to move all of this out a little bit. I'm just going to move this back out for a bit. And then we'll reconnect it later when we know where we want to reconnect it. So like that. And the white can go anywhere, I guess. Like that. Sure. That creates a little bit more space over here for me to work. Because now I need my emerald to be cyan, and I can't do that there. So I'm just going to do it here, I guess. This is horrible. for future-proofing purposes, I'm just going to cut all this and just move this out like a couple of tiles. Maybe we want this circles to be on this side. Move that over. Move that over here. Bring that. And that was meant to be magenta. So I'm just going to cut this and I'll get the magenta up first. Like that. And then we need a cyan one over here. So I'll go down here again. Connect the cyan back up. And the cyan also needs to be here. Now I've got space here too for the white. So if I go down and I bring a belt of white like that, that should get me my white. This is now connected to the wrong one. So these two need to mix and then these two need to mix. Now you'd think I would do it better, but I haven't. So I'm just going to do it here. One of these needs to rotate. The white one is rotated in the wrong orientation. So I'll rotate the white one because the magenta one should be in the correct orientation. And now I just need to bring this over. Somehow. There's no space to bring it over. I'm going to have to do a little bit of spaghetti here, but don't panic. I'm just going to create plenty of space for it. And we'll just do that for now. That's fine. That way this one has room to come out, because at the end of the day, these two need to now mix. Let's just make sure all of that is working properly. So that is indeed making the bottom layer, and it's oriented correctly. And this should be making the top layer at some point. So we've got the white orientated correctly, and that should be the cyan orientated correctly. And now these two need to mix with which one on top? So this one's on the bottom, that one's on top. How do I get that back in? Like that. Do a loop-de-loop around the outside. That goes in. Now we can get this out somehow. Where's my exit point? It's over there. So we'll get this out the cleanest way we know how. Like that. And this horrible, horrible design is making the shape that we want. I should have painted this in a different order to clean all this up. But that's okay. Because now we've made that shape, we need to keep going and make this shape. Which is just a green emerald or a cyan emerald. So we're using cyan twice already. So we need more cyan. Oh dear. So we're using green twice, but we've got green 3 times. So we've got enough green. We're using blue once, twice, 3 times. We need more blue. Lucky these color asteroids are reasonably large. Now we can make another belt of cyan. Like that. And then we've got another 2 belts of cyan now, which is all being carried by this one space belt. I should not have done these 2 processes in the same area. This seemed very, very silly now. Because we're going to get a lot of crisscrossy applesauce going on here now. But essentially we need a painter. I'm going to put my painter, say, here. And then we can put the shape in there. Then we can look at where our cyan is and see if we can't bring it around here somewhere. Like that. And that should get our second layer. And now our third layer is another emerald, but we just need the diagonal of it. So we'll get our diagonal maker, chuck it over here somewhere. I'm just going to give myself a bit more space for shenanigans. Then bring it out here. So we're consuming the emerald 3 times, which is what we have. Then we can bin one. With that binned, we should be able to now color that magenta. So we've got 2 belts of magenta, of which we are using 1 belt. So we need to go down here and see where magenta can go, which is nowhere. Why does this white feel like it's not continuous? What's wrong with my white painting? My red is not continuous. What's wrong with my red? I'm consuming red twice, 3 times? I'm consuming it twice, but because of the extra input, it's confused. I'm going to cut this away because it's all color mixing. There's no primary colors here. So that should solve that. Now, with my second belt of magenta, I need to get it out, which is easier said than done. I need to get it all the way over here into a painter. Trying to figure out the least spaghetti way to do this, but I don't see it. We're gonna have to go up. Nope, not there. Up. Out. Back down. Up. Down. And around. And back up. Alright, spaghetti is happening. Great, but at least we've got the shape out. Now we need to probably orient the shape in the correct format. So we need to give that a 90-degree rotation in any direction. And then we can just stack all this together. So this goes on top. This goes on the bottom. So something like this. And that. And now this is our top layer. That's our bottom layer. And that looks reasonable to me. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of spaghetti majiggy down the bottom, but reasonably okay. Got to confirm whether it's working or not. In the meantime, I can take some research points and start working on some pin tasks. This should be creating now. Although my train, we haven't even confirmed our train system works properly. I'm going to zoom out and try to see where my trains are. I don't see any trains trying to transport this over. I think it's this train. Yeah. Here comes a train, and it's taken both the shapes, which is good. Yeah, there, one train takes all the shapes. That's close enough to what we wanted to do. Let's take some operator levels. Let's get things working a little bit faster. We'll get our stacking up to par with the rest, and then we've got to get our painting up when we get 12 points. So back to staging 1, we finished delivering. Didn't we just deliver this shape with the green circle on top? Now what? They've changed everything on me. So the bottom bit where it was uncolored is now green. That's not too bad. Where's the uncolored bit? So this is making blue uncolored. What we want to do instead is make green and blue. So this uncolored one needs to be painted first. So let's get a painter in. Let's get green over here somehow. Like that. Wait, I've done it on the wrong one. Never mind. Is the second layer still just an empty blue thing? Yes. So that needs to go into there. Like this, I think. Very hard to tell. Yeah, that should be okay. And then that should get me my new bottom 2 layers. What else has changed? So before everything was uncolored, it was like a blue, uncolored and a red one, but I'm guessing that's changed now. The red part is still the same, but the fully uncolored one is actually a green and... oh god, that's annoying. Because that was just being made like this before. So this won't work anymore. One of them will be fine because we're painting it red. That's fine. But this bottom one is no longer just uncolored. Part of it is green. So we can't make it like this anymore. We actually have to just make it from scratch. So I'm going to bin this side now, and we're going to make this layer, this third layer in the middle. So we need full to 2 diagonals twice. I'll just do it here, I guess. One of them, is there another iteration to this shape? No, there's not. Good. So we can get messy. One of them is a square. One of them is a circle. So that'll get me my diagonals. We can bin 2 of them. Then we need to paint one and leave the other uncolored. So the circle part needs to be painted green. We'll get our painter in. Told you it's going to get messy. Get our green over. Like that. We need to rotate one of them, and we'll get it to rotate into the correct position. So the green's in the correct position. This one needs to be rotated. And then they just need to be stacked any which way. And then in theory, if we just plug this back into here, we should get the exact right thing that we need. Let's flush some platforms so that we don't get crap out. Let's confirm this is indeed correct. That looks like the bottom 1.5 layer, or bottom 2 layers of that, which is good. and the other thing should be the correct layers. So now we've got our levels. We should be able to upgrade our painting speed to get everything just going a little bit faster. Now we've got our little green ribbons out. Wait, no, that's not what we're looking at. Over here, we're looking at if we're getting the green bit out, which we are, and whether that's stacking to be the third layer. Squares uncolored and circles. I think that should be correct, and I think all of this should be correct. We'll have to check back in on it. We can see this milestone 4 is going, but the other milestone 4 is not, and it should be started up by now. So let's just verify that this is the correct shape that we are making. It looks very correct to me. Okay, let's verify our station is indeed working. Looks like it's working. Why do I feel like it's not getting a saturated belt worth though? I guess the painting speed just caught up, so maybe that's what's causing it. But this one's been running for some time and... well, this one's saturated. Okay, I think it's just the painting speed hasn't caught up yet. So we'll keep an eye on it. Let's go back to staging 2 and see if we can get this wacky shape at the end of it. So what are we currently producing and what do we need to change? This is the last iteration of the shape as well. We're currently producing this and we need to produce this. So the bottom layer remains the same. It's a red star. The second layer is a red crisscross star with a blue emerald. A red? No, it's green and blue star emerald crisscross, which is a green and blue star emerald crisscross. The third layer is just an emerald crisscross. This third layer is the same. The fourth layer is a blue emerald circle crisscross. Now the fourth layer is a red star. What? Okay, so it's a blue emerald and a red star crisscross. Blue emerald stays the same. And we need to replace the... circle part, the blue circle, with a red crisscross, which is a little bit annoying because I think I'm painting all this in one go, aren't I? Yeah, we're using a crisscrosser, which we can't use a crisscrosser anymore. We have to use a splitter. So let me fix this up. And the top layer is just an emerald crisscrossed. So let's go full to 2 diagonals over here. So that gets our diagonal circles, but we only need 1 set of diagonal circles, which is... wait, why do we need diagonal circles? We don't need circles anymore, my bad. We need to crisscross stars. Red stars, preferably. I mean, we could do this the clean way, or we can just do it the dirty way, which is just to bring new stars in and then paint them red again. This is the dirty way of doing it. Now we've got our red stars. Bin that part. And our top layer is just all emeralds, but it's crisscrossed blue and green emeralds. So we won't worry about that for now. Let's just get the blue emerald bit. So we got a blue here and an emerald here. We just need to paint it. I might just do it on the bottom layer because I'm running out of space. And this is going against all our design principles, but it doesn't matter because this is the last bit. And then we're deleting everything. So there's blue emeralds. And then if we crisscross it by cutting it into 2 diagonals, we should have 2 belts of blue emerald. Now we need to mix one of them with this, and the blue emerald direction is this way. So we're going to rotate one of them. Then we can just stack it with this. Maybe like that. Bring that down. And that should get us our new 4th layer. Our new 4th layer can just directly plug into there. That should get us the correct shape. And it's already oriented correctly. Why is this red circles? Let me just flush out the red circles and just get red stars instead. My blue over here is also not upgraded. Did I not save my game, or did I just stop upgrading these things halfway through? Because I didn't finish upgrading my staging area? Silly. I think I got distracted by something or other, as I typically do. But let's upgrade that. Can only fit this many miners on here. Can barely fit 3 miners. There we go. Now that blue is upgraded, should we just check out red as well? I did upgrade red and I just didn't upgrade green or blue. That's great of me. Now we've got to build our final top layer, which is just green emeralds, but we don't have any more spare emeralds. We're not destroying any emeralds. We've got the blue emeralds coming out of here, but we don't have green emerald anywhere. So we will need another belt of emeralds. I'm going to just do it over on this side, just because I'm weird like that. And then we'll bring it over and we'll make it green. Get our painter in. Now green is not happy with where everything is. So I'm just gonna pull it this way. Then we'll go down from here and that should bring it there. Fantastic. That should get our green emerald part out. And our green emerald is oriented correctly. Our blue emerald is not. So I'd like to bring my blue emerald up here somewhere. We'd want to bring our green emerald here somewhere. We need another stacker. Something like this. We need a rotator over here. And then we need our belt going this way. So I'm going to do that again, but this time we're going to go this way. And that's our final layer. So we can go under here, above here, and it'll stack somewhere here with this layer on the bottom. And this layer on top. That should get us our correct shape. Let's go back to staging 1 and see what is wrong with that shape. And check it out. These are all loading now, so that's all good. Our staging 1 shape is still incorrect, because it looks like something is rotated incorrectly. The square layer is not rotated correctly. It's outputting correctly. I thought I rotated everything into the correct orientation. Our square circle is the correct orientation. Something is rotating something. Ah. I think I've got this in the wrong order. We want this. Like that should get us the right rotation for those 2 layers. Because the square should be pointing to the top right. And the square's already pointing to the top right. So now that should be correct. I don't know why the rotation got screwed. But yeah, that's the correct modification for that one. This is done. Now we can finally piece together the final Milestone 4 shape. Wait, they're actually 2 completely separate shapes. So we can go to Milestone 4 and start working on that shape, I guess. So currently it's coming out of there. What changed? Everything changed. The bottom shape is not even that anymore. The bottom shape is nothing like that anymore. Oh, fun. Well, if it's going to force us to do a full rebuild of this shape, I'd rather wait till this is done and then do the rebuild for both Milestone 4 shapes at the same time. But now I think we'll just end the episode here. We've done plenty this episode. Before we go, we might just check in on staging 1 and 2 to make sure they are producing the correct shape. So this looks like it's coming out at the correct orientation now. So with that at the correct orientation, this should now be completely correct as well. It looks very much like this shape, so I'm happy with that. Let's see if staging 2's gotten to work yet. So this crisscross applesauce is coming out correct. And that's going over here. And now it's producing the final shape. Does that look... Visually, it looks kind of correct. It's so hard to compare shape stuff now, but I think that is also correct. There's no way it's going to verify that for me. I wish they would fix this, because I don't remember at the start of the game it would come out with ticks. Hey look, one of them is coming out with a tick. So I'm going to assume it's correct. I don't know why. Have I set up my stuff wrong somehow that it doesn't know to show me the correct things? But anyway, it doesn't matter. We've got more operator research points. We've upgraded all of our stuff to level 4 now. The final upgrade is quite expensive, but we're getting plenty of operator points now. We'll save some of them in case we need train upgrades, but I don't think we need train upgrades right now. How's our capacity going? Maybe we need another quick capacity upgrade before we go. And that's all of our research points. And now we've got 4. Every train will pick up 4 packets. But I think our problem is that we just need more trains running more frequently. But this one train coming across here will very easily pick up a full packet and then another full packet. Every single train will unload very easily. So they just need to be timed accordingly. And then we should be sweet on that part. But everything is being delivered, so we can work on these 2 milestone 4 shapes next episode. And our progress is going pretty well. So if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to like and sub, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.